All right, guys, so let's welcome our guest, J.R. Arthur, aka the Pixel Monkey, a special friend of mine. He's actually my husband, and he's got some wonderful information to share on self promo. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Like she said, my name is J.R. Arthur, aka the Pixel Monkey. I'm an art director in the creative field, and for those of you who don't know necessarily what that is, an art director basically is the designer, but the implementation of stuff. So I do like the planning part and then the implementation, and also delegate things out to a team.
Welcome. Thank you for coming. So, this is our second time shooting this because the first time I wasn't prepared. I felt like I needed to come with some better questions for him because he had a lot of knowledge. So, today we're going to do a 5 for 5. This is 5 questions, 5 answers, 5 minutes. So, stay tuned as we get started. All right. So, when we talk about sales promotion, what's the purpose of sales promotion?
The purpose of sales promotion is ultimately to market your company. It basically helps to generate business and create more revenue for whatever it is you're trying to do. So that's basically the short version of what sales promotion is.
So, when we talk about sales promotion, what are the different forms that people who are trying to expand their brand or their business, what are some forms of sales promotion that they can take advantage of?
So different avenues of self-promotion, of course, are like print marketing, which most people are familiar with that because it's like ads in not newspapers anymore, but ads and like billboards, things like that. The stuff that you see, that's print. The most common one now, in my opinion, is social media marketing. So that's become widely available to people because it doesn't cost you as much. And also, most everybody has Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and even LinkedIn at this point.
Yeah.
But the one that's driving the most as far as like promoting yourself has been TikTok.
TikTok, nice. So I know we're going to actually get into TikTok next week, so I'm super excited to talk about that. But using some of the other forms, some of the more traditional forms, the Facebooks, the Instagrams, what are some things that you can do to self promote on those platforms?
I only know it so particularly from what I do. And I've had many different clients in different spaces. From my side of things, I self promote myself on Facebook by creating like a fan page. Some people have business pages. Some people use Google Ads. But the one that I tend to like a little bit more now has been YouTube and Instagram. The reason why TikTok doesn't appeal to me so much is just because I feel like I don't want to say necessarily my generation because it's people my age that use TikTok all the time, but I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah.
It's actually something I'm trying to learn. And also, TikTok is considered short form video. So it's like 30 seconds or less. So if you're not used to that type of marketing, sometimes it's hard to get to your point in a shorter period of time. That's where viral videos and things like that come in.
So I know, just kind of in my own research, I had come across the giveaways, the giving of service, coupons, things like that, flash sales. Have you done any of those things? And if so, what were the benefits and what were some things that weren't really beneficial or just things to kind of be aware of if you use any of those?
Okay, so as far as giveaways, some people know it as like swag, which is those type of giveaways are like clothing, pins, that type of stuff.
The merch.
Now, I will say the type of giveaways that are beneficial, in my opinion, to a lot of companies are giving away a service based around what you do.
Okay.
So for me, I gave away free websites. And that created a problem because you don't expect for a lot of people to, well, at least I didn't because I was new to it at that point. I didn't expect for a lot of people to actually respond because my posts were typically only getting like 25 likes or this, that, and the other. But there's a huge difference between views and likes. So what I wasn't checking is how many people were actually looking at it. I was going
Okay.
by how many people were liking it. So when I posted that, I ended up having to do more websites than what I was thinking.
Oh, wow.
And so you have to be very careful when you're giving stuff away that's part of your service that you do a limited number.
It's like a cap, kind of.
Like a cap.
Okay.
So that's kind of why like companies will be like, the first 10 people get this. And I never could really understand why they had to put that, but now I do. Because what happens is, say 20 people decide to sign up. If you didn't put that cap, you technically have to honor that, because then you run into the cases where, I mean, this doesn't happen often, but for bigger companies, people will sue you for that type of stuff.
Oh, wow.
Because they'll be like, well, you promised me this, or you promised me that. So that's why a lot of times you have to put a cap. And some people don't put it in the initial ad, like they'll be like, 10 people get this free. What they'll do is they'll put it in the fine print.
Okay.
So that way, it doesn't make people go, well, I'm not going to win it if it's only 10 people.
They'll still want to enter it.
They'll still want to enter it.
Nice. Okay, what's the next question? So what is, I guess, if we're starting out and we want to just take our business to the next level, our brand to the next level using this, what would be maybe our first step? What would you recommend we do to get started with self-promotion, whether it's merch, whether it's services, coupons? What would be the first step?
First and foremost, I would say, get off your butt and do something. No, I'm just joking. No, first and foremost, what I would actually say is figure out what your benefit is to your demographic that you're targeting.
Okay.
Because just because you give something away doesn't mean that people are going to want it. So, for instance, I'm not going to go into a retirement home and say the first 10 people get a website. Typically, they're not even going to know how to necessarily navigate that the way that we would.
That is not the way I feel, older people.
So that typically wouldn't work. And I'm telling you this based off like working in market research and things like that I've seen. Once you hit a certain age gap, certain things don't appeal to certain people. It also can be based on race and religion and things like that. So know who you're marketing to, and then that will let you know what you can do. Now, once you figure that part out, then you have to go, what am I willing to give away? Just because you have it to give away doesn't necessarily mean you want to give that. You may want to start off small by just, giving away t-shirts or something that have like your company name on it. Some people actually are drawn to that, but find out like what kind of shirts people like. Like maybe people like fitted shirts in your demographic for what you're marketing. And then once you kind of start hooking people in, then you can go into something bigger. So say for instance, you're a yoga instructor. Well, then maybe you go free 1 hour class. It's not even necessarily that you're going to be losing business, because if you're giving a class anyway, all you're accepting is like 1 or 2 extra spots of people. But you're doing that with the intention that these people will go out and tell other people how good you were.
That word of mouth, man, that's definitely important.
And that, in my opinion, is the best form of marketing yourself, is word of mouth.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you're familiar with what testimonials are, but basically a testimonial for your service is basically saying how good or how bad you've done.
Yeah.
You typically want a good one, because that's how people rate you. So if you go, for instance, you get your hair done, you want to go to somebody that you know does hair really well. So if somebody tells you, well, this person does hair well, that might be who you go see, opposed to just starting from scratch. Because you'll be like, well, your hair looks good, so that means mine technically should come out good.
You feel a little more confident, trusting. Yeah, for sure.
So word of mouth is always probably going to be your best friend. One thing I will say with that is you always have to be careful who you're talking to, for one, and who you're marketing to. And the reason why I say that is we're sitting here having this conversation, but say we didn't know each other and we just happened to be out and spark up a conversation. But then later on, you find out that I'm a business owner, but because your ease of being able to talk to me was so good, you might be inclined to try my business. So carry yourself the way that you want people to know you, no matter where you are. And then that will help to market yourself as well.
Ooh, I like that. That was a really important gem. So, not only have we learned how to use self promotion on social media platforms, but that last tidbit was really nice. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you are marketing yourself. You're a representative of your business and your brand. So, carry yourself accordingly. You just never know who you might be talking to, might be the next person to bring you some business or help you expand your business. So, thank you so much for joining us. That is Self Promo. If you guys have any questions for Mr. Arthur, you can definitely reach out and reach him. How do they get a hold of you?
You can find me on YouTube at Creatively Speaking, and I'm also on Instagram because I'm still there at pixelmonkey_designs.
Awesome. And
Can I add something real quick?
of course.
For those of you who are looking to market yourself sooner than later, just make sure when you enter into it, don't start out feeling like you have to spend a whole lot of money to do it. Always start with and I hate to say it this way, do what's cheapest first. And when I say cheapest, I don't mean the lowest budget person to do it. What I mean is, if social media is free, start there. If you have access to, I don't know, somebody who has a website and can put your ad there for like a minimal cost, or like your local high schools and things like that. Sometimes they have spots in like their mailers and things like that you can purchase. That's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. Don't go out feeling like I have to get a billboard or a banner in a mall. Like, start with what works for your budget.
We're going to actually be talking about those in some upcoming episodes, the different ways of marketing yourself in addition to self promo. So, those things will definitely be something we talk more about, those billboards, finding those local opportunities and things like that to help grow your business and expand your business. So definitely stay tuned because they are, once again, wonderful gems, great tips. But for now, thank you guys so much for joining us. Look at all the information, like us, follow us, check us out. And if you have questions or have something you want to know, let me know so we can get an expert on to share some information that could help you, help me, help us all. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for joining. We will see you next time. Bye.